This is SREB, Ready for High School Math, lesson 2.3b on multi-step equation. This is part 2. All right, so where I left off, we were talking about new multi-step equations and different types of solutions, okay? So we talked about 3 different cases, okay? So if we have a solution like this, x equals -3, or like up here, x equals 4, or p equals 20, okay? So that's one way we can see these multi-step equations working out. Now, we had 2 other cases. If we worked it out and got it down to where our variables canceled out, okay, so like in this example, we started out with k's, but by the time we got down to it, we didn't have any k's left. All our k's canceled out, and we were left with this statement, 30 equals 4, but that was a false statement. So if your k's or your x's, your variables cancel out, and you're left with some false statement, then your solution is that there is no solution. There's nothing we could plug in that would work. The flip side of that, if your variables cancel out and you're left with a true statement, like 11 equals 11, well, then your solution is all real numbers, because we could plug in any number that we want to, and it would work out perfectly for us. So that was the 3 cases. Either we have a value that we can plug in, we have no value that we could plug in, or we could have every value that we could plug in. All right, so let's continue on with number 6. 2y plus 4 times 2y minus 1 equals 10 times y plus 5 minus 12. All right, so first things first, let's get rid of these parentheses by distributing the number that is right in front of them. So we have this parentheses right here. The number right in front of them is a positive 4. So that's what we're going to distribute. So on the left-hand side, I'll get 2y. 4 times 2y will be plus 8y. 4 times -1 will be minus 4 is equal to, we have a positive 10 that we're distributing here and here. 10 times y will give me 10y. 10 times 5 will give me plus 50 minus 12. All right, look on the left-hand side. We have a 2y and an 8y. These are like terms that I can combine, so I'm going to combine these to give me 10y minus 4. Now on the right-hand side, we have 10y plus 50 minus 12. We can take this 50 minus 12 and combine those. So I get 10y, 50 minus 12, plus 38. All right, so now from here, I want to get all of my variables on one side. So I'm going to move them all to the left. So to undo 10y on the right, I need to subtract 10y. Anything I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So I'm going to subtract 10y from both sides. Now when I do that on the left-hand side, 10y's cancel out. I'm left with -4 equals, on the right-hand side, 10y cancels out. I'm left with 38. So I'm left with the statement -4 equals 38. Well, all of my variables have canceled out, and I'm left with a false statement. -4 does not equal 38. So with this being the case, it's going to be like number 3 over here, and my solution is no solution. There's nothing that I can plug in for y to give me a true statement. All right, last up, number 7. The perimeter of a rectangle is 148 inches. Find the dimensions if the length is 17 inches greater than 3 times the width. All right, so for this one, what I would do first is I would draw out a picture. Okay, so let's draw out a rectangle. And we're going to just go through and label some of the parts. Okay, so we know that the perimeter is 148. So now let's look. We have the length and we have the width. So we know that the length is 17 inches greater than 3 times the width. 17 inches greater than 3 times the width. So let's break that down. What would that look like? So we're essentially being told that length is equal to this. 17 inches greater than 3 times the width. Okay? Well, 17 inches greater means that whatever we have, we're going to add 17 more. We're 17 greater, which means we have to add 17 to whatever we get. So 3 times the width, okay? 3 times, that means multiplication. So 3 times the width, which we're representing with W, and then 17 inches greater than that would be plus 17. So over here, my length can be represented by the expression 3W plus 17. And then my width, I'm just going to keep it the same, just W. Well, so in a rectangle, we have 2 sets of sides that are going to be congruent to one another. Granted, my picture is not the best. In fact, this is not even a rectangle, but let's just pretend that it is. So if the right side of a rectangle has a width of W, the left side will have a width of W. If the top side has a length of 3W plus 17, the bottom side has a length of 3W plus 17. All right, so now we need to figure out what are the dimensions. So when it asks for the dimensions, it's asking for the length and the width. So in order to figure that out, we need to set up an equation. So currently we know that the perimeter is 148 inches. And the perimeter is also equal to adding up all of the sides together. So when we add this up, okay, so I'll scroll that out right there. So when we add up all these sides, we're going to add up W plus W plus the two lengths, which are 3W plus 17 plus 3W plus 17. Okay, so we'll go through and solve this just like the other one. So we're going to take all of our like terms. We have W, W, 3W, and 3W. So that's going to simplify down to, this is 1W, 1W, 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 will give me 8 W's in total. Then we're going to take plus 17, that will give me plus 34. So we've taken the right side and we've condensed it down into just 8W plus 34. So we've got all the variables on the right side, so we'll leave it there. So we're going to get all of our constants on the left side. So to undo adding 34, we need to subtract 34. So I'll subtract 34 from both sides. I'll be left with 114 is equal to 8W. And then we want to get W alone because W is our width. That's one thing that we want to know. So to undo multiplying by 8, we're going to divide by 8. So we get 114 divided by 8. That's going to be 14.25 will be equal to W. So the width of my rectangle will be W. And now we need to know the length. Okay, well, keep in mind we said that the length was 3W plus 17. So if I want to know the length, I need to take the value of W and plug it in. So 3 times 14.25 plus 17. Because again, we said earlier that my length was 3W plus 17. So I'm taking my value for W and plugging it in here. So 3 times 14.25 plus 17 will give me a length of 59.75. So my length of this rectangle will be 59.75 inches, and my width of this rectangle will be 14.25 inches.